Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another Jane Austen July vlog. So this will be the last vlog of Jane Austen July. I'm starting this on Tuesday, the 21st of July. So we have 10 days left of July and I'm hoping to get a few more books in. So we'll start off by talking you through what I'm currently reading. I'm currently in the middle of one book and that is How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days by Sophie Irwin. This is a really fun Regency historical novel about a young woman called Lydia who is persuaded by her family to engage herself to a man who is the heir to a duke. And she doesn't want to marry him. She doesn't know him very well. She doesn't love him, but her family think it would be for the best. And now she has 10 days to try and act in a way as to persuade him to break off the engagement so that she doesn't have to marry him, but her family won't be angry with her. And it's just very, very funny and very entertaining. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far. So that's what I'm currently reading physically. And I think I'm going to try and finish this off before I start anything new. But I will be starting a new audiobook today because I've just finished off my other audiobooks and I've been debating what to listen to. The other audiobook that was on my Jane Austen July TBR was Pride and Prejudice. I read Pride and Prejudice most years and I really enjoy the Rosamund Pike audiobook. But I've just finished watching The Other Bennet Sister, the adaptation of the Janice Hadlow novel, and I have lots of thoughts about that adaptation, but also it's been about 6 years since I read the novel The Other Bennet Sister, and there are definitely some big changes they've made in the miniseries, but some of them I can't remember how big the changes are, if you see what I mean, because it's just been such a while since I read it. So I am sort of debating listening to The Other Bennet Sister to remind myself of the details of the book and what exactly they changed for the miniseries. I feel a bit divided on this because I feel like I otherwise wouldn't reread it, or like there are other books related to Austen I would rather reread. I probably would be more excited to read Miss Austen by Jill Hornby, which I read also back in 2020, the same year as I read The Other Bennet Sister, and I love Miss Austen more, but I also feel like having just watched the miniseries, I really want to refresh my memory of the book. So I might start that on audiobook and see how I go. But anyway, I will keep you updated throughout this vlog. I hope this will be quite a fun vlog because I have some writing stuff going on in the next week. I'm going to Harrogate Crime Writing Festival this weekend, which will be really fun. So I will do some vlogging while I'm there and show you around some bookshops and some fun literary festival stuff, which obviously isn't very Jane Austen-y, but will be fun and bookish, I hope. So yeah, that's all for now, and I guess I will check in again soon. Hello again, it is Wednesday the 22nd of July and I thought I would film a quick clip today because I'm not sure if I will have time to film tomorrow before I head off to Harrogate. I will do lots of like vlogging and filming while I'm there, but I probably won't talk to the camera very much unless I end up alone in our Airbnb at any point. I don't think I will have the courage to talk to the camera in front of other people, and that's okay. But anyway, so I have started rereading The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow on audiobook, which I'm finding very interesting so far. I feel like I'm not going to have particularly different thoughts on it the second time around, but I do feel like it will be an interesting rereading experience, especially to compare it to the miniseries and think about them together, and also to think about why it was that it's not like a complete new favourite for me, because I know so many people love it so much and I did really enjoy it and I do think there are some great elements, but there are a few reasons why it doesn't work for me, as well as, for example, a book like Miss Austen by Jill Hornby. And I do wonder if The Other Bennet Sister suffered the first time around because I read those two books in the same year, and maybe now reading The Other Bennet Sister with a bit more distance from Miss Austen, I won't be so harsh on it. But then I do feel that the pacing is too slow. Like, I'm about 25% the way through and we're still within the plot of Pride and Prejudice, and I feel like the novel is at its strongest in the latter sections of it when we are beyond Pride and Prejudice, and I feel like Pride and Prejudice should have been like 15% of the book. I do feel like that's sort of my editor brain coming in there rather than just like the direct thoughts of Katie the reader, but yeah. Anyway, meanwhile, as I said, I'm heading off to Harrogate tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. I was trying to work out what books to take with me and how many books to take with me. Harrogate is a dangerous place to have a heavy suitcase for because I will acquire books. There will be lots of bookshops. While I have generally been trying to acquire fewer books this year, I feel like one, that hasn't really worked, and also two, when I'm surrounded by lots of other writers and a massive bookshop, I will end up buying some books. And there's usually like free proof copies around and stuff. But I am going to bring 2 books with me for reading on the train. So I have How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days by Sophie Irwin, which I'm currently reading. I'm about 100 pages in. I'm hopeful that I will finish that on the train up or down. And then I thought I would bring one other Jane Austen July book with me. And so I've put in my case A Very Vexing Murder by Lucy Andrews, because that is a crime Jane Austen retelling. And that seems like an appropriate book to take during Jane Austen July to a crime writing festival. So I might start that over the weekend too, maybe read that on the train home. I will see how I go. So that's all for now. This will be followed by lots of vlog footage, I guess, and I will probably check in verbally when I'm back home. Hello, I'm in Harrogate here for the Crime Writing Festival. I wasn't sure if I'd managed to film a little clip here for the Jane Austen July vlog, but all of the rest of the people I'm staying with are out of the house at the moment and I'm here, so I thought I would film a quick clip just to say that I'm having a lovely time at Harrogate so far. I have done a bit more of reading How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days. Well, I read quite a lot of it on the train, so I've only got like 50 pages left now and it's such a delight. But meanwhile, I've been going to lots of events and chatting to lots of authors and it's just been lovely, great fun. And also I have been given my book proofs for the Christmas Tree Murders. Proof copies are here. My marketeer met me in the festival and found me and gave me lots of books and they look very beautiful, so that is very exciting indeed. And yeah, that is all for now and I'll check in again soon. Hello again, it is Tuesday the 28th of July and I'm back with another clip for this vlog. It is very, very hot in the UK right now, which I am not enjoying. But there we go. I had a lovely time at Harrogate over the weekend. It was a wonderful festival, really great fun. Saw a lot of lovely writer friends, went to some really interesting panels, went to some interesting bookshops, got some proof copies of my new novel, which I should have brought over to show you here, but they're over the other side of the room and I'm plugged into the microphone now. But I did film a very quick clip in Harrogate showing them, and they look lovely and I'm really pleased with them, so that's all exciting. And it was generally a very fun authory bookish weekend, and I did also do some reading. So on the train up and back I finished How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days by Sophie Irwin, which I just absolutely adored. This was just such an utter delight in every way. It was so funny. Like, I love a romance novel, but what I love more than a romance novel is a rom-com, and this is a proper rom-com. It is just so very funny, as well as being lovely and delightful and charming, and I just loved it. I think I spoke about this in this video already, so I won't go over the premise, but I just thought this was a fantastic read that I just had a wonderful time with. And then I also started off on the train home another book, which I have foolishly also left over the other side of the room. I will show it later, but I won't now. But that is A Very Vexing Murder by Lucy Andrew, which is a Emma retelling that sort of flips Emma and gives you a very different version of Harriet Smith, in which Harriet Smith is a con woman who has been sent to Highbury to investigate, which is very fun. So I'm enjoying that so far. And I think it'll be a really interesting, entertaining retelling. Also, while I was away at Harrogate over the weekend, finished listening to The Other Bennet Sister by Janice Hadlow, which I think maybe I had just started when I last filmed a clip, or I might have just been speaking about reading it, but I reread the whole of The Other Bennet Sister at quite quick speed in quite a short period of time, so that Nick and I could film a video about it together, and I enjoyed it. I still sort of stand by a lot of my thoughts on the first read, that for me it's a bit too long, the pacing isn't quite right, and I disagree with the interpretation of a few characters from Pride and Prejudice, but I do think it's a really fun, charming, warm, Austen-y read, and I really like the character of Mary Bennet and the love story and everything like that. And then I got back from Harrogate on Sunday night, and then had a terrible migraine, which just carried on into the whole of Monday basically, which wasn't very fun. So I lost a day of work, but I did lie in bed and listen to the majority of the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice. So I have been listening to Pride and Prejudice, which is my go-to I've got a migraine and feel terrible audiobook, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through because I got through a lot of it yesterday, and it was just, you know, a lovely comfort to listen to while not feeling great and sort of drifting in and out of sleep, and, you know, rewinding the audiobook every time I woke up. But yeah, I love Pride and Prejudice. It's always an utter delight. I love the Rosamund Pike audiobook. I think it's wonderful, and so that's really great. And then I started another audiobook this morning, so if I didn't have enough to update you on. So at the beginning of the month, I got out Queer Georgians by Anthony Delaney from the library, and I just still have quite a few more physical books I want to read before the end of the month, and it's, you know, the 28th. So I thought I would try and fit this in on audiobook instead. So I managed to get hold of an audiobook copy, and I'm listening to it, and it's really interesting so far. I've only listened to the introduction and a bit of the first chapter, but I think this will be a really interesting read, shedding light on a really interesting, sort of less commonly spoken about element of Georgian society. So I'm really enjoying that so far as well. And that is a lot of catching up. So I will stop rambling now. Later this afternoon, I'm going to have a call with Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, my Jane Austen July co-host and co-founder, and we are going to watch together the Lucy Worsley documentary that is the group watch for this year, and then make a video about it, which I think will be really fun. I'm also trying to work out if I have time to do some more reading sprints this week or film any more videos except for that one. I think we'll have to see how I go. Like I said, I had a migraine yesterday, so I lost a full day of work off this week. And you know, if you work freelance like I do, you can't just take a day off sick without that impacting the rest of your week and the next week. So I'm going to have less time to film and read this week than I would otherwise have had, but that's okay. Anyway, that's it for now. I will see how I get on with the remainder of my Jane Austen July, and I'll check in later in the week. Hello again. I think I filmed a clip on Tuesday and it's now Thursday and I don't have too much to update you on, but I hope I will do later today / tomorrow. So I have been reading A Very Vexing Murder by Lucy Andrew, which I'm just loving. It's so fun. It's a really, really fun take on Emma, and I think that Emma is a really fun novel to do that kind of flip on, because Emma is a novel with some twists and turns and with some things that Emma isn't aware of, and you can imagine that Emma wouldn't notice if she was being conned, and it's just really fun. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Very entertaining. I really love the sort of very different take on Robert Martin and Harriet Smith. I think it's really nicely done, and this is excellent fun. So very much enjoying that. I'm about halfway through. I'm doing some reading sprints this evening on BookTube, which I'm looking forward to, and I hope I'll get another chunk through this this evening, and then hopefully finish it off tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of Jane Austen July, and it'll be nice to finish this off, but I will just see how I go. I think I've done quite well with my Jane Austen July TBR. There are 2 books I haven't got to at all, but you know, that's not the end of the world. Meanwhile, I'm still listening to Pride and Prejudice. I've got about an hour left, so I'll definitely finish that today or tomorrow, and I'm also listening to Queer Georgians by Anthony Delaney. I don't know that I'm going to finish that before the end of the month, but I might just manage to, or I might finish off this weekend, which is, you know, I can still count that in Jane Austen July, it's fine. So yes, I will see how my reading sprints go this afternoon, and know what I get read tomorrow, and I'll check in again, I guess one last time before I wrap up this vlog. Good morning. It is the 1st of August, which means that Jane Austen July is over. But I've had a very nice Jane Austen July, and I did manage to finish off 2 of the 3 books I was reading yesterday. So I finished off A Very Vexing Murder by Lucy Andrew, which was excellent fun. This was just a real pleasure to read. Really entertaining, very fast-paced, very good fun flip on Emma, with a sort of storyline going on in the background of Emma, and the ending worked very well. So I very much enjoyed this. I believe this is a series, so I'm looking forward to continuing with it, and I guess possibly seeing how Harriet Smith interacts with other stories from Jane Austen. I assume that's how the series is going to go. So yeah, this was excellent fun indeed. And then I also finished off listening to Pride and Prejudice, which was a delight, as it always is. And just, yeah, such a pleasure. I love Pride and Prejudice every single time, and I know it so well now that it's just sort of a real comfort and delight to listen to. Meanwhile, I'm still listening to Queer Georgians by Anthony Delaney, which I obviously haven't managed to finish off in Jane Austen July, but I hope I will finish off in the next few days. I will probably hold off on filming my Jane Austen July wrap up until I finished it and just include it in there, which means I did get through most of the books on my Jane Austen July TBR, and the 2 I didn't get to were The Elopement by Jill Hornby and Love and Marriage in the Age of Jane Austen by Rory Muir, but I did end up reading The Other Bennet Sister, which wasn't on my Jane Austen July TBR, so I think I did pretty well overall, and I will hopefully read The Elopement and Love and Marriage in the Age of Jane Austen either later this year or next Jane Austen July. I guess I will see. So that is all for this Jane Austen July vlog. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a good Jane Austen July, and I'll be back very soon with another bookish video.